Welcome everyone to the launch, the pilot, the whatever you want to call it episode of Operation Magic, our new podcast baby, where myself and my buddy James are trying our best to show you that bridge between Disney, being a veteran, and how that magic kind of happens. And I'm excited, James. How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm good, man. This has been a long time coming. We've had failures to launches, I'll say, in the past due to circumstances, episodes and travel, and just whatever happens, right? But
Right.
this is the actual inaugural episode, the actual pilot that's going to shock the world. We're not here to break the mold, guys. We're here to just weave more of that Disney magic, and like Josh said, be a part of something, being veterans, that is going to bridge like that gap. Like, but you might have a missing peg here and there, like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where you step your foot through and like, oh crap, where we go? But the idea is to weave the idea of story, magic, and our own personal love of Disney, being military veterans, and people who just care about the brand so much, that we want to tell you, good stories and bring good content, maybe some good guests. Am I about right on that, Josh?
Absolutely. So not only just bringing you guys great content and our own perspectives and stories, but kind of a place where especially veterans and military personnel can get their kind of magical debrief, if you will, where we can kind of break down any kind of deals, tips, tricks, stuff like that. I'm gonna throw one out there right now, just as a little taste for you guys. I didn't know for a long time that January and September for Shades of Green was where any veteran can stay at Shades of Green. You don't have to be a certain percentage. So it's stuff like that that we're trying to also sprinkle into here so that not only do you get some cool, crazy, funny stories, but you also get some information that helps you kind of keep everything straight because there's a lot of stuff out there that can be confusing.
There really is. And as a veteran, I mean, the first time I really discovered, honestly, the idea of being a military personnel member, period, not just a veteran, um, being able to do that was actually trying to plan to Florida that never came to fruition. I found about Shades of Green and the deals there, guys. I mean, yeah, January and September, that's a great one. I mean, if you're a golfer, I mean, who doesn't want to go in like early September,
Yeah.
right
Go
at the
hack up
peak
the
of.
course. We know none of y'all can golf. What's up?
Yeah, dude, go. Yeah, that is true. But who doesn't like a nice fall morning? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I don't know what fall's like on the East Coast necessarily, but it might be beautiful, especially
Beautiful.
at Disney. But that's what we want to tell you about, stuff like that, fun little stories about us not knowing how to golf, uh, and just have a good time. And the thing about myself is I also have a different side of the magic, because Josh, he's trying to allude, he's part travel agent. Um, and that's how he gets his knowledge. And we're not gonna lie, we'll talk
A
about
little
that a
bit.
different day. I'm also a former cast member, um, and and I have a little bit of magic that I can tell behind the scenes stuff that is not so secret so much anymore. It's not like kayfabe, as they'd say in the wrestling world, that you're getting the peek behind the curtain more so than anything. But cast member stories are always fun, and being a part of attractions like Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, working Phantasmic parades, there's a lot of crazy stories that can entail in that. But it's so much so just a passion that bore from a young age for me, that Disney really came into my life, and that only grew it. And when I joined the military, I found out I was, well, come later on, I found out that I wasn't the only one who loved the Disney brand, but for a long time I felt like an outsider. Did you ever feel like you're an outsider, Josh, when you were like early in your fandom and being in the military? Like, I feel like the weird kid in campus now because I like
Man.
Disney and I have to hide it to
all,
some weird degree.
all the time, man. Like, we have different upbringings or paths to kind of how we ended up in this moment right here. I never went to Disney except one time as a kid. My big trip came from my first deployment check. And, man, that money hits as a young kid, and you're like, wait, I got some tax-free
Mm-hmm.
cash in my account right
Oh
now.
man.
How am I going to spend this all in one shot?
Yep.
So I was actually planning my first Disney trip while still deployed, with my girlfriend at the time, my
Oh
wife now.
wow.
And I mean, people are like, "What do you mean? You're planning a Disney trip, dude? Why would you not buy a new charger? Why aren't you buying a new car at 30% interest, right?" And I I used that money to finance my first trip, and to all my veterans out there that have never been, or you have been, you have a park in Disney World right next to Universal Studios, which is the adrenaline junkie place to go, and I love it at Universal. But there's a reason I still book Disney every year with my wife, and that's our mission here. That's our operation. That's our name, is to break down
Yep.
why that is, what makes this place
Why?
what
And,
it is.
and that was me. See, being in the Marine Corps. So let me bridge that gap. There's a gap that we need to bridge here, and this is a partnership with Disney. And I'll get to a quick story about me too. So when you think of Disney and the partnership of the military, there's this iconic picture, and this is what we're about. The iconic picture of Mickey Mouse as a United States Marine. And I say this because I was a Marine, and it's my pride, my ego, and whatever else. But the fact is that image is flanked by the rest of the service members, which are all, um, the other, sensational six. And the fact of the matter is we want to bridge that gap in that partnership. Like that happened. My son just came up my office, which is weird. Um, but uh, but no, we want to bridge that gap because that partnership of Mickey saluting with the rest of them flanking him shows the love and that passion. And if you felt like that weird kid, like I alluded to it, Josh, because I know I did, being a Marine, you're supposed to be big, hard, and tough, and you're not supposed to like stuff like that. You're supposed to want to be a part of, the biggest gun club and go do dumb stuff and drink all the time, which, don't get me wrong, I did. But I still found my time at Disney, and it's because I did have a passion of Disney from a young age and going, multiple times as a kid. But having a park so close to you, how could you not want to go, right? Being in San Diego,
Absolutely.
because that station at Camp Pendleton, I mean, 90 minute, not well, yeah, on a good day, 90 minutes up the road to Anaheim from Oceanside, California, which is typically an hour with clear I-5. However, that 90-minute drive on a weekend, on a payday weekend, of course, why wouldn't I want to go stay at a cheap Roach Moach hotel down the street that's like $30 at the time for a weekend? So $100 in a hotel, and then cheap base tickets at the time were, I think, $50. So every other weekend, I wanted to go. So how could you not want to do that? And like you said, there's Universal Studios in Hollywood. We had Knott's Berry
Right.
Farm. We had free tickets to SeaWorld. If we wanted to go SeaWorld, it was free. Any of the parks down in San Diego, completely free. We had Mexico. But we had all these different things that we could do, amusement type things, right? We had we had boardwalk piers in Santa Monica. We could have done anything with our time, and that's what I chose to do because of this passion, this love that I had. But it's also like, why not? I'm military, and what better place to escape the military for 2.5 days or a day and a half before you go back Sunday evening, back to base. What better way to spend your weekend than that escapism? That's totally what Disney is, and we're not trying to candy coat that, but the fact is that was my draw. That was a big draw. Not only did I have a love for it, I was stationed right there, and I could drive there or take the train right to walking distance to the park. Why not?
Man, and you hit it perfectly when you were talking about, being that odd man out, and, not feeling like the military man. Um, and Disney has already thought of that. I mean, when you go to the Shades of Green, you don't have these in your face Disney resort style themings at Shades of Green. It is a normal upscale resort with little sprinkles of magic here and there. It's not art of animation or all star sports kind of theming. It's a very professional, very upscale, nice place. And I think that's exactly what Disney's thinking is, okay, well, we're dealing with veterans and military personnel, we want to give them something that's not, boom, in your face, Mickey Mouse, but make them feel like, they still have a little bit of that professionalism, that little bit of escape. But then Middle of Shades of Green Man is a huge Mickey in camo, and it's awesome. I have my picture with it. But that's one of the things,
awesome.
dude, that
I've never been to Florida.
And me personally, when I am in the Disney bubble, I prefer the resorts that don't scream Disney. That's just me. That's just my own aesthetic. Like, I like the old Key West, the Saratoga Springs, even the Grand Floridian, stuff like that, where you're not like, it's not too kiddie, right? But it's kind of upscale enough to where after I get out of the park, I feel like, okay, I have a little bit of a, I still see the theming, I still see it there, but I'm not like over the top 24/7.
See, so, and it's different. So, and this is a different episode, but this is a good piece right here to actually tie into Disneyland, because I'm the land guy. He's the world guy. I've worked at land. I have a strong tie. That's where my first trip ever was. But the hotels there are completely different, because everybody knows the story. Walt bought Disneyland, bought the land for Disneyland, and the word got out. And once the park was built, he didn't have enough time to develop hotels or any of this stuff. And land was bought to build hotels because they saw, wow, this great brand new park, right? Well, fact of the matter is the hotels outside the park, which are literally, you're within the bubble without being in the bubble. You leave the bubble and you're like, oh, wow. And you have your standard, Motel 6s and, themed hotels, the basic big ones or whatever. But you go into some of those and they're over themed. But then you have some like, what is it? Camelot Inn and Suites. It's like a castle, or Castle Inn and Suites. It's one of them. But cool. It's like a castle on the outside, and it's got theming on it. You'll have to look it up and check it out. They're both hotels. They're pretty nice hotels, actually. But there's other hotels, like you said, Old Key West. For us, like, it'd be the Candy Cane Inn. Candy Cane Inn. It's got a little sprinkle of Disney theming, but I haven't been there. And let me preface this: I haven't been there since they've redone it, and they've redid it 3 years ago. And the last time I was there, I think I was 12, and I'm 40. So that tells you how long ago it's been. I need to go back, do my homework. But the last time I was there, they had a little bit of Disney theming. It was more like a colonial style hotel, which was cool in the era of the mid to late 90s, and it was cool. It was neat. But it's also, there are those hotels that if you get a little bit further out the bubble or closer to the convention center right there in Anaheim, like the Hilton. The Hilton, the last time I was there, it's a typical Hilton hotel. It's, very, upscale, luxurious. You have the hanging new lights, all the Hilton glitz and glamour for whatever it is. Same with the Marriott. We had a Marine Corps ball at the Hilton, and I've been to the Marriott and a couple of, but you have the hotels right there on the strip that don't have very little, and you might have a sprinkle like as you go into the lobby. And that's great. I love hotels like that because it makes you feel like you're away. You can go to the pool and not have a poster of Mickey right there in your face. But when I have stayed on property and on the resort hotels, I do like the bubble as well. I do like that idea because my kids, who are still very young, and I have daughters as well who are older. But even when they were younger, we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and the theming was perfect because they wanted to be princesses, and we had it set up to where stuff was taken to the room and laid out like the princesses had been there, and we did stuff like that. And for our boys, kind of the same thing. Oh, I can't remember who we had say there, and they got the whole the whole thing at the hotel. But when my wife and I went a couple years ago, we stayed off property, and it was about a quarter mile walk, and everything's within walking distance at Disneyland. It wasn't bad at the end of the night. It was nice decompression time to go back that way and have a nice stroll instead of having to hop. We don't have the monorail stops running, I think, after the fireworks. It doesn't pick back up, I don't think, at the end of the night, if I remember correctly, at Disneyland. So, and it doesn't run to any of the hotels. It drops you off right outside. You're still inside the bubble, but you have to go outside security to get to any of the hotels, unless you're staying at the Grand Californian, which is right there within downtown Disney, which would be Disney Springs in Florida. So,
well,
but yeah, the differences.
to the top of the
No, let's
episode
circle
here,
back.
because
Mhm.
we want to get to know us just a little bit better before we start
Yeah.
digging deeper into these other episodes. So, James, I'm
Right,
going to ask
right.
you a couple questions, and then I'll answer them as well. But I'm going to ask you
Okay.
a couple things just to help any new listeners, which is going to be everybody, get to know you a little bit better. Okay. And these, being in the military, these are not going to be softballs.
Oh God, yeah.
I
don't like
first,
anything that's easy.
I want to know what's your most unpopular theme park or Disney opinion, like your hottest of hot takes.
Ooh. Unpopular. Oh gosh.
I can give you a
picked up that
minute. I
humming,
can
by the
take it
way.
first if you want.
Yeah. If you hear this humming going on by me, my furnace decided it wanted to kick up for whatever.
Oh, I don't hear anything.
Give me a heartbeat.
You're good.
Okay, good. You don't hear any buzzing? Good. Perfect, because my office is right next to my furnace. It's weird. Trust me. Weird setup, but it works. It works for me.
As long as it works.
So you said most unpopular. Oh, gosh. That's tough. Unpopular Disney hot take opinion. I would say that. Oh, this is a good one, because I will say this, and there's going to be a lot of people that want to be so angry when I say what I'm about ready to say.
Oh, make them mad, man. That's what we want.
I think Canoes is one of the best rides. And there's going to be a big group of people that love me for saying this. But I think Canoes is one of the best rides and relaxing rides, even rowing, at Disneyland. Because I know you guys in Florida lost Canoes a long time ago. And at Disneyland, there's a saying that I've just started to populate. So one of my best friends is a Legacy cast member and is a Canoes cast member now. And him and I started cultivating. If Canoes ever closes, we riot.
Riot. Okay.
Because the fact is what attraction other than big boats, say Mark Twain, Columbia, or Pirates, or Small World, can you just sit there and kind of be on the water in the open air? What attractions allow that?
Open
that
air?
I named.
None in Florida.
Kind of open air. And
open
I mean,
air? No.
I would
outside?
With Tiana's, you get a little bit at Tiana's.
Tiana's, yeah, you get go outside in Tiana's, yeah, but
and you get it on big boats. No, but and people are like, oh, we have to row. Yeah, the rowing sucks, but you row, and they're like, all right, you can slow. All right, then row again, and they tell jokes, and it's just, you're on the rivers of America. How cool is that? There's not much small attraction like that where you're that close. And yeah, it's like, who wants to be that close? I'm like, you know why? Because it's a pretty neat attraction, but people don't like to work out. Which, hate to say it, Disney's a workout, guys. You're walking.
Oh, dude,
it's just, but you're like, steps I don't mind doing this. My wife didn't believe it. In a 4-day trip by myself, I burned 80,000 steps. She's like, there's no way. At Disneyland, I go, yeah, I was walking like 20 miles a day. Yeah. It's easy to do.
Yeah, you basically walk around the Magic Kingdom parking lot all day. Anyway.
Yeah, hey, we saw the best part. Small. That's another. Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Hey, we'll talk. That's a different episode. Same question for you. So what is your unpopular...
I'm gonna do this in a 2-part, because my first one that I always tell people gets me in some hot water, but I just, it ties into kind of the show, especially sharing the magic and now Operation Magic. I do not think that the special moments or the magical moments at Disney include any kind of fireworks, big rides, lands, stuff like that. I think it's in the very small, detailed, quiet moments, like a cast member talking to a kid for 5 seconds, background music on Main Street. I just feel like it's the not popular, not noticed things that help keep Disney's magic intact. It's easier, in my opinion, to pull off that fireworks show than it is to have a cast
Yep.
member do make
I've
magic
got
happen right in front of somebody.
I've got three real quick ones for you from my personal career. And this is why I really agree with that. That is not a hot take to me. It's something near and dear to my heart. So I remember once I was working, if you guys are familiar with Disneyland, or if you're not, get a map and you'll know exactly what I'm talking as soon as I say it. There's the back side of our castle, and then there's a space between the Matterhorn where there's a walkway that you walk off the side of the castle by the Matterhorn, and it goes up by Alice and Teacups. So you go up there, but there's a pathway and it splits, and it almost like diverts you to Tomorrowland. Well, we roped that off for parades and fireworks, and this little girl just looking sad, bored. Wait for a parade. What little kid wants to sit at Disney and wait for a parade? That the parades you want to get there early, as everybody knows, but in a little kid's world, that's a long time.
Right.
So the music was playing. They had the background music, and I said, and then the parade music started because the parade was still a little bit out, but you could still hear the music playing in the background. I said, "Hey, come here." And I looked at Princess. I was like, "Okay, if she dances," and we danced, and I took her and I spun her like she was a little princess. I go, "Let's go, princess, and let's go dance." And we danced right there in the walkway, in the pathway of the parade way, so she would have just this magical time while she was waiting for the parade, because I did not want her to miss any magic. I didn't want her to be sad. You can see princesses. You're here to have a great time.
Right.
Another time, like you said, it's really easy to give somebody what I used to call the passes of power, the kind of the freedom, that free ride in a way that you saw somebody do something out of the ordinary, like, oh, a kid dropped their their pen, and instead of taking it and pocketing it, you gave it to them, or you saw this person throw the piece of trash on the ground. Instead of waiting for the janitor, you said, that person's an ass. Here, I'm going to pick it up. So I take that, or a ride, that you give them ride breakdowns or whatever. But to make that happen, that's really easy. It's just, all right, write it here. Here's that. Tell your supervisor you gave one out, whatever. But I remember one time I had the pouch of power, and you have buttons, the first time buttons or whatever else. And to be Johnny on the spot, it doesn't happen all the time working parades because you're always everywhere. And I saw this man I just had a feeling. I go, he's getting ready to propose. I can just see. I knew what a proposal looked like. He had the girl right there on Main Street. The whole scene was perfect. And I saw him get down on one knee, and I popped out with a button. I said, "Congratulations." Gave him both a button, happily ever after button. I wrote engaged, the date, and no other than James Bond himself, Pierce Brosnan, walked by and looked at me. He goes, "Good on them and good on you." I was like, "What?" So I not only created magic for a couple,
That's cool, man.
but Pierce Brosnan. Then lastly, my trick at Haunted Mansion, and this is a fun little thing I did to make Mansion kind of my own. You get into the expanding room, and the lights go dark. You get, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please drag your bodies away from the walls, and you get that whole thing right. We'll do the voice later on in life. But I'd wait for the light to go out, and I'd pick a victim before they even knew. They were the most unsuspecting of victims, because I'd peg them. I'd peg that person who's on their phone, or put their phone down as they're that jerk that's in doing whatever, or this little kid that's looking like they're having a sad moment and they just need a little magic, or this couple that looks like they're all snuggling, snuggled up, and I'd wait, and I'd walk up, and I'd wait for the lights to pop on and go boo. I'd scare him. And it got me more cast compliments than not. There were never any complaints against it, because it was a little piece of the magic that not everybody got, and not every cast member did. It's little things like that alone right there that shape a person's day. So that's why your take isn't so hot to me, because that's stuff that I did. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh, we're playing music in the background. Hope you didn't hear that.
I can't hear it. No,
good.
I can't hear it.
It's in my ears. Oh, I hit a button on my keyboard. All right, so that's
now
so
a non like kind of mushy one is, I hate It's a Small World. I think the ride's atrocious, boring. It needs to be, with all the money Disney has, I understand how nostalgic it is.
Okay.
You can revamp that ride a little bit. it is painful. You get a hippo and they're like
that hippo. I love that hippo.
just losing its mind, and it means something, man. The ride's bad.
So here's for a long time I agreed with you. For a very long time. Now, have you ever been to the parks during the holidays?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So have you?
I've been every month of every year.
I don't know if Florida.
Every month of every year. Every month of the year.
Yeah. I don't know if Florida has the holiday overlay.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, especially in Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom gets the most love of all the parks, of course, on holidays, especially Christmas and Halloween. And It's a Small World is affected by that. However, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, to me, my wife loves it. She makes me sit through it.
For me, what it is, so that you'll appreciate this. You'll appreciate this more as your daughter gets older. I promise you. Number one, you have to appreciate the art of Mary Blair to appreciate Small World. So Mary Blair is one of the famed Imagineers who helped design Disneyland, and she designed Alice in Wonderland. She drew the work for that.
Right.
You have to appreciate her artwork to understand Small World, and at the time, the way the world was. So there's that aspect. So there's a whole cultural aspect to it. There's one, and once I understood that aspect and the Mary Blair aspect of it, bigger appreciation. And then I was at Disneyland for the holidays, and it was actually, I went the day after Christmas through New Year's that year. Worst time of year to go to Disneyland, I'll tell you. Especially with the Backstreet Boys and playing New Year's Eve there. Don't ever do that. Wow. However, I never experienced It's a Small World in any capacity of liking it until that happened. I went and I got into the line for the queue right before the top of the hour, and they do their really cool Christmas, clock show with it. Okay. That really got me, and the lights and everything. And then a couple years ago, I got to go for the opening of it for the holidays, and to see the love and the passion, and then to appreciate Mary Blair in the original attraction, and to see the love and the care that they put into the attraction overall for the holidays, and then understanding the 64 World's Fair was so transformative for Disney that without Small World, I don't think there would be a Disneyland.
No, and I can appreciate all those things. Really, I think my gripe is, why do they not take care of the ride?
The water rides are really hard.
Shape, so and all the animatronics are deteriorating to a level of it's comical, right?
So every year they're replacing dolls out. They have dolls that go into refurbishment. They have 4 dolls for every doll and 4 costumes for every doll. So there's something that they're doing to prevent that. It's just to catch it. And I know this from working at Splash. Working at Splash Mountain, water attractions, and even in getting evacuated off of our Pirates, there's something about water attractions and the humidity that it creates within them. And
I'm sure they're boiling.
Have you been to Disneyland? Have you been on their Small World?
I've never been to Disneyland.
So when you go to Disneyland, ride their Small World, and it's probably a lot different because Florida's humidity is very bad. So you couple that on top of
I can see that
humidity that a ride creates. Is your queue indoors at all for a Small World?
So it's not indoors. It's overhung. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's you can, when you get on the boat, you can still see outside.
Okay.
It's just an overhang kind of deal.
Okay, because our queue is completely outdoors without any overhang. So that's why I ask, because I know your Pirates is indoors, your queue's indoors, it's completely differently set up than ours. So and that's the whole reason I ask, is that idea of understanding. And I mean, I can understand. There's a lot of people for a long time at Disneyland, there's a certain part of that park you would step into and you could hear it from all sides of the park.
Does it count me out?
There was a time, and I remember it because it's like, especially when the Matterhorn and monorail aren't running and they're down, because the Matterhorn is a huge sound barrier when it's running, because it's not just a mountain. It's yeah, it's a mountain and it's going to take some sound out, but that attraction is loud, so you get that sound barrier, and then you have like, then you didn't have the submarines. We didn't have submarines going for a long time, so that alone, that lagoon and that part, oh gosh, you could hear It's a Small World from certain parts of it, and you're just like, put a gun to my mouth right now and make me just go away because I want to die. But but I get the appreciation for it now, and I love it, and so I understand the take.
So one more question to kind of understand us better, unless you have one more thing about what we just talked about.
Well, what was your hot take? That's fair. No, one more question. All right, let's go.
Right, just to kind of help everybody understand us just a little bit more, and then I think we'll
wrap.
I think we'll shelf some of the stuff for another day, another episode, and
I like that.
Okay, so this is gonna be like a military style question.
Okay.
What part? And this is, you went to the parks as a kid, so this is older you, right?
Okay.
What part of military life do you think actually helped you navigate the theme parks a bit better?
Structuring, the structure, because I know when I go to the park, and now some of that, I will not lie, comes from my own background growing up, but I had the freedom as a teen to run the park and do whatever and go willy-nilly and just kind of, I'm going to go here and I'm going to zigzag this, that, and the other, and I didn't understand that. I fought against it. I hated it with a passion. Then you get into the military, and the military, dude. It's all structure all the time. It's like order from the top down. If there's an inspection, your uniform better look this way. It's to a T, right? I'm almost neurotic to the point where I structure not my day out, but there's a rhyme and a reason to why we're going to where we're going. So at Disneyland, I like to go left in the morning. Left is just the natural thing for me. Go left. That's the first. You do that at going through Adventureland, through New Orleans Square. That's how you get to Batuu. There's multiple ways to Batuu in Disneyland. But the fact is I've always just been going left because that's where the park ended, and that's where all the big rides were at Disneyland before California Adventure. So I structure my day going left. That's old habit. But the rest of my day, it's like, okay, well, if I'm here logically at Mansion, and Mansion's, all right, it's 25 minutes, I'll hit that. And then I know that ride, it takes up 45 minutes. I'm going to look, and if I have, at the time, if I had the DAS, or if I have Fast Passes, which is an old thing of the past, now it's,
Lightning Lane.
Lightning Lane, yeah. There's so many of them that's changed over the years, I can't even think of them all at once. But like, you got Lightning Lanes, so I'll look at the Lightning Lanes, and I'll be like, okay, well, I'm here. Lightning Lane for Rise is not that bad. I might have to buy it, but that makes sense. I'm over here. It's before lunch, and this place is going to be a madhouse. Is right about lunch, dinner time, right before fireworks. Do I really want to be here, or do I want to do this later in the day and get a reservation at Olga's? So then that goes into my brain. Well, how am I going to structure my drinking in the day? Am I having lunch at DCA at California Adventure, or am I having lunch at the hotels and eating at Trader Sam's? So am I going to structure? So depending on the day is how I structure parts of my day. So, but the structuring aspect of it really mattered because I'm not going like willy-nilly, but I have a rhyme or reason. If I'm park hopping, what am I doing at that park? That is it going to rhyme with going to, for example, California Adventure? Am I going to be able to hit, Guardians of the Galaxy? That's what took over Tower was Guardians. So am I going to ride Guardians, and then am I going to head over to Cars Land and do Radiator Springs, and then am I going to do Mater, the Mater attraction, and then am I going here and ride Incredicoaster, or how I'm going to make my way through it. Since it's a smaller park, I can knock that out in the attractions I like in maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, and back over to Disneyland. So
Okay.
is it dinner time? Am I going to downtown Disney for dinner and then back into the park? Am I hopping the monorail before fireworks and doing that? So there's like multiple ways to structure it, but I'm always able to adjust on the fly because the military taught us to be able to adjust on the fly as well. But I start out with a structure in mind. And if I start left and I accomplish that, okay, where's my next move and what's logical next within that structure? But I think
Gotcha.
learning and structure on the fly really helped out. What's yours?
You know, I thought about this for the last couple minutes, and I have to go with patience. Um,
Patience. Oh yeah,
I've been
patience.
rushed for no reason for years. Hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. That I don't. I mean, I joke with my wife about this because my patience level at the parks is. I mean, I nothing bothers me. Nothing bothers me. It's so weird. Like if the line's in a 2 hour wait and my wife wants to wait, okay, in line we go, and I just no problem. I don't complain. I mean, we're willingly putting ourselves there. There was a time where I'd wait all day because someone made me. so it's
Right, right.
my patience level for things is, people bump me. I mean, you're not bumping me intentionally. You know, typically it's an accident. So my patience level is pretty high for
Right.
for the parks, and I feel like you need that. It's a must have. You have to have patience, or you're going to be miserable. Um, I actually try to be the opposite of what you said because of so much structure in the military. I try to take one day out of our vacation where we have no idea what we're doing,
Oh no,
and
don't get me wrong.
it is
I
tough.
I do that.
It is
I
tough.
I I do that.
It's tough
Don't
though.
get
I
me wrong.
mean, I want to be structured, and I am, but I mean,
There's one day.
I'll overdo it where the military would ruin that for me, where I'm
Yep.
then getting upset because people aren't sticking to my structured plan.
No. No. So this is I this and I'll back that up because I started finding that I get frustrated. And I found it more so with taking my
Mm.
mom. Um, my mom and my wife and my daughter because you add in that.
You're outnumbered, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then I had little boy, dude. It was like taking extra people, and I love taking my mom on trips. My mom's one who just made Disney. And I will never say no to a trip to Disney with my mom. I love the woman. She's great. Um, you know, however, I learned early on, and it was after I got back and I bought my annual pass. That you have to have patience, but you also kind of have to take it as is. And then when I took my daughters when they were younger for the first time as a parent taking kids to Disney, I planned it the way my mom planned it, and I put a front end day and a back end day at the resort. So the front end day is the day that we get there. We're not doing jack. We don't do anything. We check into the hotel. If we want to go to property, but we stayed on property with my mom the last time we went there, and with my daughters we stayed on property. So we didn't do anything. We went to the pool. We had dinner. We just kind of hung out. And then we just did whatever we wanted. If we wanted to go shopping at downtown, we went shopping. If we wanted to go back to the pool, we did that. If we wanted to leave property and go explore the area, we did that. And then the back end day is kind of that whatever day. We've just now done 4 or 5 days of structure, or we'll take a part of a day, a half day, and do a half of a full day. And then if you want to go to the park later or you want to stay back, one of the parents will say, "Hey, I'll stay back because I'm tired." Or whatever. So we kind of flip flop on that, on who's doing what. My wife is usually the one who goes because I go hard. I go real hard at the paint and the Disney. Uh, but that back end day also, like that's the decompression day. It's like, all right, we've now
Nice.
just spent 5 days on resort. We have a total of 7 days here. That front end day does nothing. That back end day, yeah, we're on resort. Yeah, do we have the itch to want to go into the park? And we can't. That sucks. We have to put more money out to do that. So
Right.
then that's why I do that. So it's a deterrent to not want to go in. And we tool around the regular property. If it's penetrating, if my kids want to go to the pool, if it's, Goofy's Kitchen, whatever it may be, we're doing that instead of the parks. Though it's a one a ploy to go into the park, it sucks to not be able to go into the park, but it's nice to not have to go into the park. I had a quick one for you before we finish this.
Yeah.
Because this is something that I think about as a parent. What is the one thing as a parent that you struggle with at Disney?
Okay. I'll just go with the first one that popped in my head. And I don't know if I'll ever get better at this. And you know what? I think that's a great question to end this episode with. Because if you interfere with my daughter's magic, I will rip your face off.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
so. We waited in line for the parade, and a guy just jumps right in front of us as the parade starts. I will remove you from that spot, which is what I did. I've been in many, and now look, I'm a patient guy. We just talked about patience.
Yeah.
I have zero tolerance and zero patience for blatant disrespect when it comes to my family. So, and my wife and I, we vacationed a lot at Disney with just the two of us. That's more tolerable. She's a grown woman. We're talking about my toddler.
Yes.
I will remove you. Me and you both going to be out the park in handcuffs. While my daughter, she's still in there watching the fireworks, having a great time. That's all I care about. But we're going to go somewhere. Yeah. And that's how, that's the biggest problem I have. And I'll struggle with that for forever. And
that's
the way it
that's
is,
a good one. That is a great one. And I fully am on board with that because I have a quick story to parlay with that. So I think my mom and I were on Tom Sawyer's Island. I was like 12. And it was when Fort Wilderness was still open, guys, at Disneyland. And this dad was just this is his dad being a dick to his own kid. Ruining his own kid's magic. And he missed a step and broke his ankle. And my mom, he's crying out for help. And my mom's like, I ain't helping you. You're an asshole. And walked by him and just kept, because you're ruining a child's magic. The idea is you're creating magic. I know I've pulled my daughters out of the parks for being buttheads, and I've chewed their butts. I'm like,
you gotta be a parent, right?
Yeah, I gotta be a parent. I'm not gonna let my kid be a jerk and ruin other kids' magic. And if you're going to continue to be a jerk, you don't get the privilege of being in the park. That's a place of love and magic and real things. Speaking of a child, I have one out here. Oh, he's like, oh, you're on a podcast. I'm going out.
And guys, we're never going to edit these moments out because this is what family's all about. I mean, we're both fathers. We're going to have that door's going to open at some point.
Oh yeah.
With somebody coming through it. So.
And my boys are older and they know that I'm a part of podcasts and I record.
Headset on. Oh God.
Oh yeah. And then I have my older son who's in podcasting, and so he knows the tricks, and I'm like, dude, he's like, oh yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Dad. So it's like, it's all good. If my kids ever want to pop out, I'm not going to edit those. It's different when we are on STM, our other podcast with a bigger crew.
Right.
But this is family friendly. There's no agenda here. STM, it's not a bad agenda. I'm not saying our agenda is bad.
No, it's just structured. We got a lot of people, a lot of time.
We have a lot, and we have be respectful. So, but here it's just you and I shooting it, and that's great. And that's again magic. I want my son to feel like he's a part of something special. The other thing is, for me, I love that you answered it that way, because that's the quintessential question. My thing about it is, being a parent, don't be a dick to your child at the park.
And that's tough.
It is. Don't get me
you
wrong.
Get overwhelmed and you're having a rough day. I mean, that's not a problem for me, but I felt myself welling. Like
I will say that when I took my daughters, I wanted that perfect Disney dad trip, and there were moments where I boiled over a little bit, and I learned when I took my boys, but it was because my daughters were trying and pushing, and there are things that, as an immature, parent of stepchildren, you don't understand at times, and that was a missed moment on my point. And I was also a jerk to my wife at a point, because she was also, me being very like Disney oriented, I missed signs at that time. She was also 7-8 months pregnant, going through the park with our oldest son, and I missed science because I was, I had a lot overwhelming. Like you said, there are times where you find yourself. But my last time being there, I found myself more arguing with my adults with me, my mom and my wife at times, than I did my own children. Because I'm like, guys, we're adults here. Why are we fighting? Why? Why can't we just get it? Trying to get it together.
Right.
But the one instance that I saw that really sold me on this idea of don't be a dick. I was on said attraction that you don't like. It's a small world. And yeah, my wife and I remember vividly. They think there's like 6 rows in that attraction for the ride.
Okay.
We were in the middle, her and I, getting ready to go on, and this couple gets on with whoever they're with and their kids, and they are arguing the whole attraction, ruining it not only for the kids on the ride. I don't know if they're a couple, they're a brother or sister. I just know they were.
Starts, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Pick it up when you get off.
Yeah, but they were arguing. They argued the whole time.
Oh, I can't do
This is
that,
why
man.
I don't understand why this.
I'm telling you to shut up. I'm telling you to shut.
And he's like, "You're," I'm going to drop some coarse language here, guys. He said, "You're a fucking bitch. Why are you?" I'm like, "Whoa!" I go, "Dude, enough."
Yeah, calm
We're
down.
on enough. And he kept going, "Mind your own fucking business." I'm like, "Enough."
In
We're
2
trying to
seconds,
enjoy
you're going to
this.
be an animatronic like, it's a flower. I'm going to force you out there. You'd be dancing to the music. Oh, my God, bro.
It was, yeah. So, to me, and then I gave you the instance of, the dad ruining the magic for his own son on a closed attraction, which now the kid will have that core memory of, well, I went on this attraction one time and my dad was a jerk and he broke his ankle. How magical is that?
Yeah. There's your
how magical.
There's your magic. Yeah. Good job, Dad. Good job.
Right. Again, it's like, that's a thing. And I also hate the stroller brigade. I mean, people with their entitlement with strollers, that's a big no to me. I've had to park strollers. I've had to, being a cast member, you have to do all these menial tasks. They're not menial. They're bigger to the bigger picture of the show. But people are entitled with their strollers and they'll just leave them anywhere. And it's not okay. Stop it. Don't be that person. Now, I may do it from time to time with my shopping cart in a Walmart parking lot, but I will not do it at Disney with a stroller, and I never did when I was pushing a stroller. Don't be that person. It's a quick way to end up with your stuff lost, stolen, or misplaced because you were the idiot and a cast member said, I'm going to put it all the way over by Pirates because it's over here between Pirates and Jungle Cruise, and you're on Jungle Cruise. Yeah, UFAFO, and that's what happens. I've done it. I've personally done it. Working Fantasmic. You knew where the stroller stuff was. Yep. You knew where the stroller stuff was. You purposely put it where it didn't belong. I moved it to somewhere it didn't need to be.
We got James fired up.
Don't do it.
Blood pressure's rising.
Oh yeah. No.
He's going back to that moment.
I know. I just my thing is like kids, like be that parent for your kids. Show up for them at Disney. Doesn't mean buy them everything. That doesn't Just show up for them. Be that parent that's like you said, don't mess with my kid. Put your strollers in the right place and don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk to anybody. I as a cast member, I had so many times where I had to just bite my tongue. Don't be a dick in general. Just enjoy the magic. I get it. It's hot. It's Florida can be hot. Disneyland can be hot. I get it. The parks are in places where it's sunny all the time. I get the days are long, but you're there for love, joy, and magic. Walt did that on purpose with Disneyland, and they carried it over to all the other parks in the world. Simply put, you're there to forget about your worries. Money's your only worry there. Do I have enough?
Man, you just keep swiping that card until it beeps back at you.
Yeah. Oh, you can't do this one. Here's another one.
Man, yeah, when they connected the magic bands to my debit card way back in the day when they first started doing that, that was the worst thing ever, man. Because I was just beep,
beep, beep, beep, beep. Yep.
Oh man. Anyway, all right.
We'll
we
talk
got
about that on a different episode.
we
So
wrap
I hope
this
you
bad
guys, and
boy up.
I know Josh has thoroughly enjoyed this. I know I've thoroughly
Oh
enjoyed
yeah, it's been a
this.
blast.
I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. We were talking like 20-minute, half hour. No, we went 50, and that's okay. This is what this happens. But we had some really good banger questions, which you can't let slide without details and story. And as we say over at STM, story shapes life. Well, magic shapes life here. The magic that is Disney shapes life, and the stories that we're going to bring forward in the future episodes, I think, are going to really, take us to different places, and really create more magic and give you more bang for your buck, as we'd say, as you look to go to Disney in the future.
Yeah, 100%, man. And we're just getting started. There's a lot more magic ahead. I mean, whether you're like a Disney fan, Universal, travel, whatever you're a fan of, or just love a good story, love a good laugh. I mean, we've got you covered there. So please don't forget to help us out on this journey, guys. Subscribe to our channel, Operation Magic. Like this video, share it with all your friends, whoever you got out there, and ask us questions. I mean, even if you've got your own story, maybe we mentioned something that you're like, hey, that happened to me, or it sparked something in your head that you wanted to share with us, just type it and we'll be happy to discuss it.
And here's the thing, I'm going to put this out there. I want veterans to really post their stories. Veterans, I want you guys to post your stories, and if you post, I want hashtag veteran in the comments. I want your stories with hashtag veteran, and we'll be sure that those get read first. Any comments of that nature or any questions, because I'm a cast member. I can get cast members all day long, but I want you, the veteran. I know Josh wants you, the veteran, to really step it up and put yourself out there and tell us your stories, even if you're in right now, whether it's Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Army, Space Force, Coast Guard, whatever your destination is, and whatever Disney park that you're at. We want to hear your stories. Our
Those
stories,
are listed in most importance, by the way. Most important, least important.
They are. They are. Oh no! I saw you almost.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on our very first mission. We will catch you on the next one, and until then, keep chasing the magic, and we will see you next time.
See you next time, guys.
Later.